Okay, so let me create a new file.file-demo.py. Okay, so I can consider reading the contents from the file, or what I can do is I can also write a file and then read the contents into it. So first of all, I need to have the file. Let's say, let me create a new file here. Let's say text dot, or let's say contents dot txt. Okay, so this is a file. I can just write, hey there, we are learning Python, and though we don't like it. Okay, so there are three lines. Now let me close this and start writing it here. So first of all, what we can do here is file equals open, and I have to specify the file name. So file name is contents.txt, and since it is placed in the same directory where this file-demo.py is located, so I do not need to specify the path. Okay, once I open this, now what I can do is I can read the contents. File.read, file.read, and let's assign this to a variable named contents, and let's say print contents. Okay, Python 3 and file-demo.py. You see, it reads in the entire content. Hey there, we are learning Python, but we don't like it. So it read the entire thing as a one string. Okay, if I were to specify, if I use instead read lines method, so when I use read lines method, what it would do, or maybe keep it as it is and then run it. Now the contents turns into a list. So it's a list which contains the first element, first line, including the end of line character \n. The first line, and then the second line as a second element in the list, and the third line is the third element in the list. Okay, any question here? I can also try running simple read line method. When I run read line method, look what happens. So it only reads the single line, and with the \n, the change of line, it automatically changed the line, but it did not print, it did not read the rest of the contents. If I specify, let's say 3 here, so it should be printing hey only, because it read 3 byte, HEY. Okay, so this is about reading the file. What if, for example, if I have to write additional contents to the file? So maybe I can consider, instead of reading, I can consider writing something, right? And what do I want to write here is I like Python. So what do you think, how the file's contents will be written? So this is the file here. Okay, and in the open method I have to specify the write mode. So in this file I'm now writing the contents. I do not need to actually, it will not be returning anything. So I read this file in the write mode, and then I write this, I like Python. So what do you think where this sentence would go in this file, contents.txt? Fourth line? Any other thought? It should go into the fourth line, but the default behavior is that, which I'm going to discuss in the slides next, is that it creates a new file, contents.txt. Okay, in this mode, if I am using W mode, it actually writes to the file if it already exists, and if it does not exist, it creates a new file. Okay, and once it creates a new file, then it overwrites the previously written contents. This is another common mistake. Now you see the previously written contents were all gone. It overwrite the previously written contents. So it has to be used very carefully. So you should know what you are doing before ended up deleting the entire content that you were saved. Okay, so in order to write the next line or append the new data into the existing data, you have to use another mode, and this is what I'm going to talk about next. So let's go back to the slides. Okay, so while writing a file, the writing mode must be specified, as I discussed, which tells whether or not writing a file is allowed if the file already exists. The first mode, remember, R corresponds to read. If we do not specify any mode, then it is the default behavior of open. It would definitely is going to read the contents of the file. It's not required to specify R. So allow read, yes. It does not allow any write operation. Allow write, creating missing file. If the file is not there and if you are trying to read the contents, it would throw off an error. Okay. Let's see the write method. It opened the file for writing. If the file does not exist, then the file is created. But the content of an existing file are overwritten, that we have just experienced. Okay, the existing file is deleted first, new empty file is created, and the new contents are added. Okay, so it allow write, yes. It creates a missing file and it overrides the file. Then we have a method. So A is for append. So open the file for appending. If the file does not exist, it automatically creates that file. So it appears that A method is more suitable for writing the file. If it already exists, then you would want to append the new data into the existing file at the end of the existing file contents. So let's see this again, append method. So for example here, let's give it a pause. I like Python. And what do you want me to read? Right. Any other statement? John? I had my birthday on June 20. It will go on YouTube. Okay. So these are the two lines that I have written in my contents file. Now what do you want me to write? Append at the end of the file. Tell me. Go ahead. We are having exam next week, which we are not happy about. Okay, so if it is the write mode, then it would replace all the contents, override all the contents. So I'm changing it to A, append mode, and let's see what happens. And you see the new contents are written in line number 3 at the end of the file. Okay, so append method is used for writing the file in the append mode, append the new data. If the file did not exist, let me try deleting this content.txt file altogether and see what happens. Yes. Okay, so now contents.txt file does not exist, and when I run this code, it will create a contents.txt file, new file, and then add this data in it. And you see the contents.txt file is created and it contains this line. Okay. All right, so let's go back. So this is how we write. We can read, but sometimes you need to read the file also to write the contents. So what you can do, you can use a plus character to the end of a mode. Okay, so like R plus or W plus to specify an update mode. So update mode allows for both reading and writing of a file at the same time. So if you have to read the contents, so you should be using R plus mode. Okay, and you have to write the if you have to read the content, you should be using R, and if you have to write the contents also, you should be using R plus.